whatever you do, don't let it fall into the wrong hands.
Alright, so if I remember correctly, you guys had just returned home mostly victorious after having rescued the stolen male townsfolk. And I think Monty had a heart-to-heart with the now widow of Graham, I want to say. And you guys had received your winnings, and I think Josa sort of graciously accepted whatever rounded down number of coins they were able to provide. And then there was probably an encounter with, I can't even remember his name. I don't know if you guys have asked his name. You know, the mage that owns the magic shop?
Nope.
Okay,
And
cool.
we're not going to.
Okay, sweet. There might have been, you guys might have asked him something and he wearily answered you. And then, I don't remember what else you guys were planning.
We were going out, given that I had bought something I was going back in to ask about.
Yeah, it was
What?
mid. It was mid. We walked out and we were just going back in again.
Oh, okay.
We were going to ask about the dagger, was it? Was it the dagger that we were going to ask about?
Yeah, could be.
Okay, cool. Let's say
Well, that's off on the dagger, by the way.
we returned to the action, and I think it was Abe who was the one going back into the magic shop, and I think I ended it on some sort of cliffhanger with him saying, or something like that. And the rest of you guys were like huddled in fear 100 feet away or so from the shop entrance, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So he says, okay, again, listen, I'm very busy. Please get to the point immediately.
Okay, sorry to bother you, but can you tell me something about this dagger? Is there any hands that you know something about this dagger?
He starts to like glance at it dismissively, but then he looks back and starts to sort of squint his eyes a bit more closely. And he says, he starts to take a little step back, almost as if he can't decide whether he's interested or wanting to distance himself. And then he says, okay, put that on the counter, just here in the middle, and roll an insight check.
Can I just check where we got this dagger from? That was from the
shaman.
ritual dagger.
It was the dagger that the orc shaman were seemingly using to perform some sort of ritual. And it has a symbol on it. Okay, with an 11, yeah, you get the sense he's being kind of his normal crotchety self. And he is going to roll a check to see how much he knows about this. Okay, he says, this symbol is familiar. I mean, I think, I've heard that rock outside of town, you guys had something to do with that, I think. That rock outside of town has this symbol on the side of it with the sort of, the rectangle with the sort of quill. I mean, where did you get this from? He says to Abe.
We got it from orc, was it a shaman? Yeah, an orc shaman when we were rescuing some villagers.
Oh, all right. Well, to be honest, that's a little odd. This is definitely not an orc weapon. This has got, I would say, more of a... It seems like it's from the Nine Hells, to be honest with you. If you look at the serrations on the sort of tip of the blade here, this is very characteristic of, devilish weaponry, but this is also much less practical. It's much more of a ceremonial style. It's long, it's thin, it's not very heavy. Like a big devil wouldn't be able to get much damage out of this. So I'm going to assume that it's for some sort of religious ceremony. But Nine Hells is nasty stuff. I don't try to get too involved in that. Being a proprietor of a business, I have to stay somewhat neutral. Yes, that is what I know about this. I will give you that advice for free if you leave me alone. I hope there's nothing else.
No, thank you very much, and sorry about everything. I'm leaving.
You're very welcome. Now get out.
We're not sorry. We're not sorry.
You're far away. He doesn't hear.
Yeah.
Okay, he's gonna roll a perception check to see if he could hear. Yeah, with a 17, he says, tell the bear man that, deodorant is a thing.
He can add it to his morning rituals.
Hmm.
Thank
Cool.
you.
So, ding-a-ling, you exit the building. What happens now?
Yes.
Let's go
Okay.
check on that rock again.
This is what he said. This is from the Nine Hells. Does not sound like a good thing.
What did you say, Fraser? I didn't hear it.
I was going to say let's take the dagger to the rock thing and see what happens.
I think
Yeah.
that's good.
Seems like a pretty obvious turn of sequence of events. Yeah, let's do that. Just like throw it at it.
Cool. I think it's probably evening by the time you guys got back. Have you guys had a long rest yet? Like, I think you went back. Actually, no. I think you took a rest halfway through your journey back to Orphea. So it's probably like midday, 2 o'clock type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's go
So
now.
you want to go to the rock? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Cool. You
Yeah.
make a short journey to the rock. You arrive. You see that everybody make a perception check. Sometimes I have to stop myself from describing things too vividly.
It's a curse. Oh,
Okay.
what?
Josa, Zenarai, and Monty just seem like they're off with the fairies. Monty's a little bit hurt that the unknown proprietor of the magic shop thinks he smells bad, even though they had a fairly decent conversation a couple of visits ago. But the rest of you are just kind of daydreaming. Whereas, let me double check. Abe notices, and potentially because I think it was Abe that detected the sort of desecration affecting the area in like a 10-foot radius around the rock. And he notices that 10-foot radius has become, the earth has really like darkened to like a dark gray, black kind of color. And the grass is no longer growing there. Nothing is growing there. And it looks well bad.
Oh.
Looks fine here. So none of us are, well, apart from Zenoi, we're not the most adept magic users. How are we planning to use a magic dagger to fix a magic stone?
So I had a suggestion. In case you guys have forgotten, I can now summon an imp, who I think I called Gehact Belact.
Gehacht.
Yeah, there we go. That's the one. And I can make it do sort of various things, and so I'm going to suggest we give it to the imp, and then I can have a chat with the imp and see what he thinks.
Haven't got any better ideas.
No.
Let's go. Go for it.
Don't trust you for a second, but I guess we've got to.
Cool. So, Zenarai, you give the knife to your imp familiar. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can communicate with him telepathically, right?
Well, so I'm going to say, wait. So what's the plan? You're just going to give the knife to the imp. What's the imp going to do with it?
Well, we're going to see if the imp knows anything about it.
Okay. Are we at the rock now? Have we wandered over? Or are we still just chilling in Orvia?
No. You guys, it's a short walk. I assumed you're about 60, 50 feet away from the rock.
Well, so we want to... Well, yeah, let's see what the imp says. But the plan is we can use this dagger to learn about the rock, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to try and do. So I give it to the imp, and I telepathically tell him to go and fly over to near the rock and ask him what he knows about it.
Okay. He takes the knife and flies over, sort of hovers about 5 or 10 feet above the rock, and telepathically he communicates with you. Considering it's telepathic, I'll just type it to you. Cool. feel the suspense.
Okay. So the imp's saying that the knife is reacting to the rock somehow, like it wants something. So I asked the imp, what does it want?
Cool. You also, who would notice this? Joser especially would notice this, that the, what's the word? The natural environment around you, sort of like sparse forest, grassland. You don't hear any birds tweeting. You don't hear any sort of natural fauna. You just hear the occasional like breeze. It's very like quiet.
Okay. So hey guys, I've got an idea. Let's see if we can bring one of those villagers from the cave here.
Why?
Is it helping them?
Well, I might know something about the rock though, so they might have seen it.
So I can translate from the imp and make it speak into normal. So I make the imp say, the rock needs something from the people that were in the cave.
I'm guessing it's going to some blood as well. Let's remember that they turned with that knife. They turned that other guy into a monolith.
Yeah.
I am going to fish Graham's amulet out of my pack. That's for sure.
What's that?
Well, no, it wasn't. It didn't belong to this symbol actually, but it was a strange crest that Graham had, which is I think it was all about Shantae.
Was that the one that you got out of the ground on the way to the first thing?
Yeah, it was the one that I found on the pedestal with the deer god thing. And then Graham's basically said he'd lost his amulet, and I pretended to not know what he was talking about and kept it.
Because he said nice bear.
Gained plus 10 evil points in your campaign.
Yes, but it is Shantae, and I'm all about.
Yeah, Shantae's sick, man. So,
Shantae's sick.
Yeah, you want to keep that stuff and just have it every day.
Yeah.
What's the story?
So Ash has pulled out his Graham amulet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just examining my Graham amulets and seeing that I believe this is to do with Shantae and not the 9 hells or 12 hells or whatever.
9.
Just kind of like holding it and being like, closer, further away.
I'm just
Closer, further away.
like
Do anything?
pendulum it slightly.
Okay.
So that,
Give me a religion check, Bearman. Funky Bearman. I feel like it makes sense that Monty would have a very sort of like aroma of the forest. He probably is not a showering kind of guy.
oh no, not at all.
Definitely not.
And all the dancing makes him sweaty.
I'm
He's
self-cleaning.
crunchy.
Lick myself down every year now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So with a 12, with a 12, you feel that Shantae is oddly quiet while you're holding this amulet. You get the sense that usually with your rituals in the morning, she's been pretty responsive. And now while you're holding this amulet, you don't get much of anything from her.
Guys, it checks out. Shantae, don't give a shit.
Is very dead. Isn't Shantae like a life goddess or something like that?
Exactly. So there's no life here, that's for sure.
So isn't this thing like absorbing life nearby kind of thing?
I think
Yes. I mean,
before, and it was necrotic, I believe.
Yep,
so it is
was.
just seeing everything around it.
So we can use the knife to stay in the rock somehow, because the rock seems to be kind of sucking all the life out from around it.
yes. I feel like bringing villagers to it when we know that its purpose is to suck the life out of things.
We
Maybe
didn't find out what it does.
not good for the villagers, and probably not good for us either.
I feel
What
like
about that asshole villager we didn't like? What about the shop man? Let's get him here.
I don't
Yeah.
think he trusts us.
I think the shopman is more powerful than any foe we've crossed paths with so far.
Fellows, was there not another area with the trees and this symbol that we have yet to go to? So
There was.
like there's
There
probably something else.
I think that's where we will find a real solution rather than just feeding a demon rock.
I feel like we need something else, and we do have the symbol is leading us somewhere. So maybe let's set out for that forest door place that sketchy told us about. I told you that you went on a nighttime walk with that gentleman.
I did.
Did he?
Well, let's say everyone.
Well, but before we go, let's do an experiment. Let's get some small rat or something and kill it over the rock and see what happens.
Nature.
Well, Josa knows that there are no animals in the area. I'd have to go and hunt one down. I don't like the idea of feeding this thing. You can tell it's evil. If it wants more blood, let's do the opposite of what it wants. I think we need to stop it, not make it grow.
I
I
reject
think we're totally missing the point here.
your idea on principle, Dark Man.
Yes.
I'm trying to find where was
Dark
the
man, bear man, short man, dragon man, dragon
yes,
guy.
so it's in the Venomous Glade. So that old weird guy told me it was in the Venomous Glade, the stone with the symbol.
The Venomous Copse.
Venomous Copse, sorry. Maybe that should be our next point of investigation.
I think that sounds good to me. And I believe we're all everyone's got everything they need, right? We had a little sell and a little buy. Does anyone need anything in town, or should we just head there? Toot sweet.
Let's do that. And I can use my stuff to get us there safely.
You guys, just as you're turning to leave, you see Zenarai's imp returning from the nearby forest, having scavenged a rat from the undergrowth, presumably further away. And
Hey, look, guys, I managed to get one.
Hanging limply in the imp's hands, clawed hands.
So I take the knife and I slice the rat in half, and the imp throws the corpse onto the rock.
Okay.
Let's see what happens then.
What you see, you use the knife on the rat and then the corpse on the rock.
Yeah.
Okay. You see as the corpse of the rat hits the rock and it sort of bounces off and lands about a foot away from the base of the stone. And you see it sort of shrivel up like an autumn leaf. Just within seconds, it becomes like a gray husk that looks like a strong breath of wind would scatter its debris everywhere. And it's a bizarre sight to see.
That would totally mess up that shop guy.
Yes.
Rock and go to the toxic door.
I pocket the knife. Let's go.
I stop the whole way for the departed rat companion.
You wouldn't last a second in the wilds.
I am the wild. Well,
all right, well, let's head there then, and I'm going to use my Natural Explorer ability, which isn't an ability, but it's a thing I can do, which is when traveling for an hour or more in your chosen terrain, difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel, your group can't become lost except by magical means, you remain alert to danger even when you engage in other activity, and I can move stealthily at a normal pace when I'm alone, so I'm going to scout just outside the group on my own with Dave.
So where are you guys heading?
The Stinky Grove.
Okay, cool.
Copsey face.
Let me just move everyone to the bigger map and then we will see what we can see.
Oh, it's just right there.
Yeah. Okay, so it's pretty close by. So I'll say you guys can get to the outskirts of, well, you can get to the outskirts of the Venomous Copse within the remainder of the day before like night falls. And it's not particularly difficult. So with your ability, you wanted to scout ahead and see what you could see. Is that right?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
so as the group moves forward, I'll be kind of
Give
taking
me a perception check.
taking point.
Yes, Sarah?
Second.
Someone?
I would think just as a heads up, guys. I can send my imp off and make it invisible and see through its eyes and talk through it as well. So it's quite good at scouting. And presumably we don't need to do any kind of like perception or stealth checks because he's a flying invisible imp.
Don't take away the one thing Joseph does. Joseph thing. I'm just gonna like sit at the back on my own.
Well,
We can-
presumably Jose's perception is going to be better than the imp's perception because perception is based on wisdom. But
Yes.
stealth of being invisible is probably quite a compelling stealth offering.
Yeah. I'm basically invisible though as well. So I can move at normal speed while stealthing.
I'm just clarifying for you guys what the mechanical difference would be between the two things.
Yeah. Storytelling wise as well. I would just appreciate it. Unless you want to like make the imp a fleshed out character. Thoughts and feelings.
We'll see how it goes. Have you rolled perception yet?
I have not. Here you go. Yeah, damn right.
Oh, wow, 24. Okay. As you cross the grassy plains outside of Orphea, you come to these sort of hills, these sort of series of hills that look like very small, and there's quite just a long line of them, oddly straight. And you get the sense that they're not the way that hills would normally form. Like, hills don't form like that. Hills normally form like at the base of mountains, for example. Like there's a geological place for them to be, and where they are is not where they should be. And with that, you reach the outskirts of the Venomous Copse, and it's a very dark, closely packed forest, and it's about nightfall by the time you reach the outskirts.
Okay.
So I would like to sort of, could I use that perception check to have scouted out a nice safe area with good vantage points to kind of maybe camp for the night?
Well, no, because that's a survival check. But I think your favorite terrain is like forest, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can roll with advantage because you're on the outskirts of the forest. It's fine.
Okay.
Mhm.
Phew, okay. With an 11, you manage to find a patch of grass free from large boulders and stones. The small hill provides some wind cover, but it's kind of like, yeah, it's
Not a great job.
It's a medium. It's also not a particularly challenging environment to find a camp spot.
All right. Guys, I've found a place to sleep if we want to call it a night or go scouting more. Up to you.
Pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Like
Venture into the
grass.
noxious place
It's-
at night.
It's probably only going to get worse in there. So yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm sleepy.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's right.
Yeah. I just
Okay.
kind of collapse on the floor like that.
Is anyone taking watch during this period of time?
I think we should have a watch, yeah.
I'll start.
Okay.
Who's starting?
I'm starting.
Okay, everybody off the call except for Abe.
Wait a sec.
Or you could just, you don't have to physically leave as long as you can't hear anything.
You can, that's a thing, because we have the...
Aside from Ash. Everybody good? All right, sweet. Abe, make a perception check for me as the sun has well and truly set and the moon starts to rise at this point. Oh, wow, natural 20. What you hear, firstly, coming from the depths of the copse behind you, presumably, is like a clicking, clacking kind of sound. It's got a sort of insectoid sound to it, but much louder than obviously an insect should sound from this distance. And there's a couple like clacking noises, like almost calling and responding to each other, and it gives you the heebie-jeebies. And the last thing we spoke when you took watch was that you remembered you had that message on the tree with the immovable rod about one of your kin that you thought were all extinct, having asked you to follow them to the roost, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were sort of like starting to feel that hole in yourself, that lack of companionship of your own kind, and sort of starting to gnaw away at you a little bit. What does your character do in this moment?
Just think that he's going to try and find someone that is like him. He's trying to find more of his tribe, his tribe.
So it's starting to crystallize from like a yearning into like a course of action.
Yes.
Cool. All right.
And once this is over, if he finds someone, then good. But it is a goal.
Okay, cool. Who do you wake up for the next watch?
Let's wake up Hugo. Before we do that, remember my thingy, the guy, the wizard, told me to get in contact or like talk to my armor. Is that what I do when I rest?
Oh, yes. So that is something that you can do while you're doing your watch. And I think that means that yours is adamantine armor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically you discover with closer contact with your armor that you are now immune to critical hits. So if an enemy rolls a natural 20 on you, it just becomes a normal attack and they don't get double the damage. And it's a feature of the armor that you weren't aware of until this point.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you.
And you're going to wake up Hugo?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll just turn my microphone off.
Cool. Come back. Can they hear me? How do I get them back? Okay, cool. Abe wakes up Joza, so everybody except Joza can go on mute, and then so on. We'll do the next bit after. Cool. Just Joza. Make a perception check. Can Joza hear me? Joza? Joza?
I'm back.
Oh, cool. Everybody is off except you, because you're the next one to roll a perception check.
And I'm closer to mine.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Okay.
Nice.
With a 12, it smells much more of like earthy, foresty aromas in this area, and it's comforting to you because you've spent so much time scouting on the outskirts of your town, for example, in the forest. And you're a bit relieved to be away from the rock and the lack of fauna. So you can hear little birds settling down, a little kind of like small voles and things skittering through the undergrowth, but nothing else of note takes place. Last time we spoke, you were taking watch and you had started to feel like, although you killed a lot of goblins and that was kind of satisfying, it didn't sate you in the way that you'd hoped for, and it started to, I think, just come up again as if it's some sort of unresolved hunger to dispense with them.
Yeah.
What does your character feel or react about that?
I think he obviously spends a lot of time in the woods on his own, or used to, and so is comfortable with his own thoughts. But I think, he's not used to. He had always just had this kind of outlet of, well, when I kill enough goblins, I'll feel better, and he just knew that would be the case. And because it hasn't happened now, he's starting to think, well, shit, he's judging himself because of what happened to his villagers. Was it all his fault? He's always blamed himself for it. But
so maybe he's starting to question like whether his method of killing goblins and orcs to feel better is like a unsustainable pattern.
Maybe, but he's going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
For a while.
But that's the wrestling that he's doing at the moment.
Exactly. Yeah, that's his big struggle, and then he's also wondering if he'll get some relief from sharing that struggle with others and explaining that actually he's maybe
being part of this group for the length of time that you have is starting to help a little bit, but not for the reasons that you'd hoped for. Like not because you get to kill more orcs necessarily, but because they help you almost distract yourself from those downtime moments when you're not killing orcs.
Exactly.
Cool. All right. This is just kind of partly a character check-in, partly like a inner journey. How are they feeling, so that I know how to respond to things in the future.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Who do you wake up next?
Anyway.
Cool. Make a perception check, please, Zenrai. Yeah, it's your watch. Basically, you see Joza wake you up, and you trudge over to the watch log. Okay, with a 14, you feel kind of a little bit conflicted. Like, you feel that little sense of pride that you've been able to do something that your patron wanted you to do, because you've had kind of a troubled relationship with him over some time. But you're also kind of like, maybe I shouldn't be happy that I'm doing something for him, because you had that dream in which you became a stone, I think, in a long line of the sort of stones you've encountered, and it sort of had a creepy, like, what's happening to me kind of feel to it.
Like a prophecy.
Yeah, and you were getting access to sort of, you felt like you were almost listening in to that connection between you and Asmodeus, and sort of trying to interpret this dream, and it sort of unsettled you a little bit. So maybe your character is a little kind of struggling between those two different feelings.
Sure, conflicted.
Yeah. Is there anything else that your character would react to about? I mean, you don't notice anything about the environment. You hear like it's basically silence. Your watch is quiet, but how does your character feel?
Can I ask the imp about what he thinks of the dream?
What he thinks? You're going to explain the dream to the imp, and the imp, you want his response? Okay. He says, rock like one from before?
Yes. Like rat rock.
Maybe we feed you and you get to be bigger, like big rock. Rocks need food, feed you.
Thank you, Galahad, for that, yeah. I think I'll stop there.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So who do you wake up next on your watch?
Well, it's got to be Monty then, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're right. Cool. Everybody except Monty can go back on mute because it's Monty's watch now, but I just wanted to let you know. So everybody except Monty should be unable to hear me. If anybody said yes at that point, it would be kind of counterproductive. All right, cool. So Monty, give me a perception check.
All right. Feeling dopey, so let's see.
Monty or you?
Both.
Okay, with an 18, you hear like a distant sort of clicking and clacking coming from the depths of the venomous copse behind you. And it's got a sort of insect sound to it, but obviously much louder than a tiny insect, because you can hear it from all the way in the depths of the forest, and it's an unsettling noise. Like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up a little bit with some sort of primitive response to that noise.
Ooh, have I heard this sound before in my forest dwelling experience?
Make a either nature or history check. Oh, good gravy. Okay. You have not encountered this noise in your forest dwellings, which is entirely possible because, each forest is its own ecosystem with its own sorts of animals.
Yes.
Cool.
Unfortunately.
And your character is, did you say unfortunately?
Yes.
Cool. So last time we checked in, your character had sort of just lost Graham, one of your devotees, also of Shanti, and you realized that the symbol that you carried that the stag gave you belongs to him, and you were sort of reluctant to actually explain that when you met Graham. And there's this sort of like, what was Monty going through in that moment? Why didn't he want to sort of like, I don't know, give it to Graham, and like what was he holding on to?
Well, I feel like Graham was going to get help from us, but right now I need all the help from Shanti I can get. So I don't feel exactly proud about it, but I feel like I'm in fairly dire straits in relation to my god, and I need to get back in favour.
Okay, yeah. So despite Shanti's reassurances a few sessions ago that, everything's good with her, but your tribespeople are going to be harder to convince, you've still got that lingering sense that, now that she's on board, she's kind of like a life raft in an ocean of people that don't like you.
Yes, I've carried that guilt for a very long time.
Yeah.
And also, maybe because my tribe see me as having, desecrated Shantae and ruined the village in her favour. Perhaps if I have some visible proof of her favour for me and my devotion, maybe they'll let me back in.
Okay, cool. So maybe you're holding on to this symbol now, this little pendant, in a kind of like the more evidence of her favor you can get, the better. But maybe you're starting to feel, like you said, not entirely great about it, but it's sort of, you're in two minds about acquiring as much of her favor as possible.
Precisely. I must make amends.
Sweet. All right.
And is there anything I can study more deeply about the pendant itself?
Have you made a check on it previously?
No.
Okay. You could just make a religion check. I'd say with advantage because it's yours. Sorry, go on.
I say apart from knowing it's a Shantae amulet.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. Cool. With an 18, you would know it's been hand woven, presumably by Graham, in the format of a sort of stag inside of a like oval shape, almost like the clam with that lady coming out of the ocean. It's like a oval with a stag inside of it, and it's very well made. And you get the sense that it's sort of like, it feels like a focus, much like your other spellcasting focus that you have. It could be useful for concentrating when you're trying to speak to Shantae. It has no properties beyond that. It's a religious focus, and it has sentimental value.
Okay, excellent. So I can channel with this. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
cool.
That's good.
Go on.
Sounds good. No, I think I'm good. I'm just
Cool.
slightly perturbed now by the insect noises.
Yes, exactly.
Back.
Sweet. Back. Yep.
Sweet. Anyone that wants to share any observations from their watch with the group, if they didn't already do it last night between watches, they can do it now to catch everyone up on what anyone noticed or whatever.
There was a clacking sound like insects, and like they were communicating all around us, and it gave me the jibby.
Yeah, I heard the insects too. And even though I come from the forest, I never heard these kinds of insects before.
I think I know what that is. I didn't hear anything, but that weird old guy who didn't give me a hand job told me that there were lots of spiders in those woods.
Oh, sick.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, maybe that's what we're dealing with.
I'm going to sit down and cross my legs and just get my seed out of my pouch and light my candles. And seed out of my pouch. So, yeah, but no, I'm just going to get my seed out and light my incense. Just meditate.
My imp suddenly turns into a spider.
Cool.
Ah!
Galahad jumps.
Do you guys think we should get Fox here, or would it be a liability just in case we are attacked by giant spiders?
How are we going to manage the Copse? It's going to kill all our stealth.
Yeah.
Maybe after our stealth is ruined, like if
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, if it's a lost cause, then.
So I've got a pretty sweet fucking spell that could help us. As of level 5, called Pass Without Trace, which is concentration up for an hour. A veil of shadows and silence radiates from you, masking you and your companions from detection. For the duration, each creature you choose within 30 feet of you, including you, has a +10 bonus to stealth checks.
So,
Can't be tracked except by magical means. A creature that receives this bonus leaves behind no tracks or other traces of this passage.
That might get me up to like a 14. Sweet.
Well, that'll probably pass.
Yeah, true. Nice. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be your time to shine, Joseph.
Although I've just realised I need some components which I don't think I have.
It's worth
What do
checking
you
though,
need?
because if it's called components, Sam said I had them.
Oh yeah, so there's no gold cost to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's fine then. So if you've got focus, it's usable.
Cool.
we
Yeah.
just with that shit.
Rad. Yeah, I mean, or we could just like murder some spiders and get some spider mandibles or something and spinnerets.
I have a
Gooey
communication.
spider legs.
I have speech of beast. I can communicate, though not. This is what I don't understand. You can communicate with, though not understand beasts and plants, and have advantage on charisma checks. How can you communicate but not understand?
Yeah, basically the way that works is you can tell plants things, and what they choose to do with that information is kind of up to them. And if they take action, based on it, then you might see the results of that action. But
Okay.
they literally can't say back to you, "Roger that."
So you can say like, "Let go of my friend," or to a vine, and it might do it.
Yeah, there's the possibility that could help.
Nice.
Right. All right.
Oh, I've turned my imp into a spider because we think there's spiders in the forest.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep track of the. Is transforming him to a different creature, like, does it require components or does it just happen?
It's his ability, shape
Okay.
changer.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. It's a spider. Do you have spider stats for it?
It's the same as the imps, but its movement is 20 and it can climb 20 as well.
Sweet. Remember that in case that comes up. Cool. What do you guys like to do?
And also, I've completed my seed ritual.
Oh yes. Did you want to try to commune or in any way, or is it more like muscle memory?
That is communing, technically.
Well, no. I mean, commune is a spell. I meant it more in the literal definition of the word sense, with a lowercase c.
Yes. No. I'm back. Okay, that's just part of my ritual. The thing I do.
Cool.
Yeah.
What would you guys like to do?
Have we scouted into the place yet?
No.
You're on
Not
the
really.
outskirts of the Copse.
So Joseph says, so we're looking for a door with that symbol on it. The guy didn't have any other ideas about where it could be. We're just gonna have to get balls deep in that forest and find it.
Sounds good.
Hurrah!
This is, I grew up in this environment. It might be a good idea if I sort of scout ahead by 100 meters and sort of report back once I know the coast is clear.
Yep.
We go from there.
Sounds good.
That's good.
Okay, so if you're going to scout ahead, give me a survival check.
All right, and have I got advantage?
Yes, because it's your favorite terrain.
Yeah. Dang. I can re-roll a 1. Hang on.
That's true. Okay. So with a 15, you manage to find your way through the area quite easily. It is quite a thick forest, so you travel about 30, 60 feet ahead, and there's not really a path that you can see, so that leads you to believe that this is not a commonly frequented forest, like the kinds of forests you patrolled, in your previous times. Because usually natural paths form when people take the path of least resistance and the grass doesn't grow there, etc., etc. Whereas this is just a kind of a hard slog through closely packed trees and shrubs.
Okay.
Nothing else of note takes place.
How roughly, I mean, how long do you think it would take to walk around this copse, for example, if I have the circumference?
Based on your assessment, just sort of looking around, you would gather that it would take you to walk around the entire thing and come back to the same spot.
Yeah.
Probably like best part of a day.
Okay.
It's
So,
like, true, boys.
yeah, well, but we don't know where to. That's what I'm trying to think to see if I've got any spells or abilities that could help me find this thing. Oh well, I mean, it would have been, I don't know, Maybe an imp flying overhead could have been quite useful to try and spot if there's a door in a clearing or something. But I guess it's probably going to be invisible from the air anyway.
I mean, I can do that if you like. I might avoid some of the thicket. Because if I show you his thing, might help. That's not helpful.
That's horse porn.
That's what he looks like.
I was hoping it would share something better. Yeah, I mean, it just says he turns invisible, and invisible creatures impossible to see without the aid of magic or a special sense.
He's got a scorpion tail. That's kind of cool. Well, I mean, what you guys can just wait while I just zigzag and cross section this whole fucking copse and try and find stuff, or we can just all go out as a group and just hack and slash our way through it and create a path and hope we stumble across it.
But that's going to attract all the spiders in the world, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, how about this? Well, no, because I'm just going to get caught.
Why don't you carry on scouting stealthily in one direction, and I'll send the invisible imp in another, and I can look through the imp's eyes and see what's going that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. What I'd quite like to do is just use my natural sort of instinct to kind of hopefully try and track where I am. Although in this dense thicket, it might be hard to sort of just zigzag across in a kind of wide sort of zigzag, covering as much of a wide path as I can, and sort of leaving a little bit of a trail behind the path this way again.
Sorry, I didn't. That bit cut off. You want to leave a trail, some sort of signals behind you that indicate where you went?
Not signals, just clear the path a little bit. Using a little knife to maybe just cut some of the bigger roots and vines and stuff, so that I can get back that way quickly, or my companions can come through.
Okay, so you're going to do some some scouting and path clearing, and how much ahead do you intend to be in front of your group? Like, what does the rest of the group want to do in terms of pursuing or following? Are you going to, aside from the imp scouting in the other direction, is the rest of the group just going to be like 60 feet behind, 90 feet behind?
Yeah, I think the plan is that I just delve into the copse on my own and go as far as I need to keep going until I find something.
I suppose you don't want to go further than like 100 feet. Otherwise, if you get in trouble, then we can't come and bail you out.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, yeah. So how about I slowly clear this path and you guys just follow behind about 100 feet, 80 feet, something like that.
Cool. All right. So
I'm stealthing the whole way, obviously.
Okay, sweet. So we'll deal with that in a sec. And Zenarai, you want to send your imp in a sort of like parallel exploring the other part that Jose isn't?
Yeah. So what I do is I say to Monty, "Come here, bear man," and I put my arm on his shoulder, and I say, "Lead on," because obviously I'm going to be looking through the imp's eyes the whole time.
So I walk like this, and you've got your arms on my shoulders.
Yeah.
I shift your arm down.
Yeah.
Let's go, Dark.
I guess Josa is aiming mainly just for the center. That's if I'm going in a direction, it's just straight into the middle, because I suspect is where a door might be.
Okay. Does Monty and Abe want to do anything aside from hang back about 90 feet? Is there any other things you would like to do?
Oh no, so I'm going to be. No, I suppose I'll prop Zen.
Oh yeah, you're acting as sort of like seeing eye dog for Zenarai.
And in case we get attacked from the back.
I should say, obviously, Dave is prowling alongside me. This is our terrible twosome that we are so used to scouting through a forest.
This is your shtick.
Yeah, it's my wheelhouse.
And what did Abe say?
I'll stick to the rear just in case we get attacked from behind, given that I have the most life.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So first things first, Joza needs to make a survival check with advantage and then a stealth check. And I think because it's your favorite terrain, you get advantage on stealth checks. But either way, it kind of makes sense. So roll both of those with advantage.
So I apparently I can move stealthily at a normal pace.
Okay, sweet. So we won't like. Oh no, that doesn't mean that you don't have to do a stealth check. It just means that you suffer from no speed penalties.
Okay. Yeah, makes
for
sense.
being stealthy. Because usually, for everyone else, under all other circumstances, traveling stealthily means that you travel much slower than normal pace.
Understood. Which shall I do first, survival or stealth?
Survival first, with advantage, and then stealth.
Ooh.
Nice.
All right. Stealth with advantage as well?
Yes, it's your favorite terrain. It makes sense. Okay, sweet. So, keeping about 90 feet ahead of the group, you and Dave manage to find your way through this tightly packed copse, which is kind of an understatement. It's much bigger than a copse. But you manage to make your way through it at a very normal pace, despite being convincingly stealthy. And you don't encounter... actually, we'll get you to do a What's your passive perception, by the way? While you're looking at your passive perception, I'll finish the rest of that description in a moment. Zenorai, can you do a... Is he going to be invisible, the imp?
Yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, technically that would just give him advantage on stealth, but based on the wording of the ability, I'm not going to bother, because unless the creature has a specific ability, there's no way for them to know where he is. So just roll... wouldn't really be survival. Roll a perception check. Yeah, I think it's just a regular perception check. I don't think the imp has advantage on perception.
No, so the imp doesn't have perception, but I do. And since I'm looking through his eyes, would it be mine in that case?
Yeah, I mean, technically, the imp has wisdom, and that's technically what perception is. So you could just do a wisdom check, but I get what you mean. If you're looking through his eyes, it's probably just easier for you to roll yours. Oh, wow, it's imp familiar. All right, that looks good enough. All right, so with a 17, you notice that... How high is the imp above the copse?
So the imp... it fly 40 feet.
Okay, but how high do you tell him to go?
Okay. How tall is the copse? Because I suppose he needs to be able to see.
I'd say the canopy would be about... The peak of the canopy would be 40 or 50 feet above the ground.
Okay, so it's maybe 30 feet. So just below the canopy so we can still see what's happening.
Okay. I'll say he discovers no significant plants or animals at this point. It just seems to be going smoothly, stealthily. You guys are... How far is the imp away from Joza? Is it in opposite directions?
Is Joseph zigzagging?
Well, should we say... So how about this? So say that rather than us splitting up and getting lost, I'm sort of breaking a trail a little bit through the forest, and you guys are just following. Yeah, well, you guys are following behind, and the imp is sort of getting a vantage point over maybe where you are, and I'm sort of scouting where I am, so that we get everything sort of covered. Because obviously the imp can see further than I can.
So we'll send the imp up to the top, and you deal with the stuff on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. So the imp's just above you, I think, kind of watching over you guys.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So the imp tells you that it can't see a whole lot from being underneath the canopy because it's obviously quite thick, but he doesn't see any dangerous animals or plants that it recognizes in the immediate vicinity. You've traveled for about an hour and a half at this point, and then I'll get Abe and Monty to make perception checks, and I wanted Joza to do... What did I want you to do? I was going to finish my description. Anyway.
Passive wisdom.
Oh, yeah. What is your passive perception?
Passive perception. Yeah. 15.
Okay. So with a 15, you notice that the forest, Joza, is starting to thin a little bit now that you've been traveling for about an hour and a half. So you gather that you might be getting towards the center, but that's just instinct telling you that. There's no real indication other than just a hunch. Monty, you notice that the forest has starting to smell more of decay, like in your home forest, there was this kind of smell in very, very sort of like animal dense areas, like lots of the smell of dens and decaying like prey or predators. This is like an area alive with hunting, and this is where you would typically go if you were going to go find a boar or get a deer for dinner or whatever it is.
The pig smell.
And
Okay.
Abe, you notice from the back that this has been quite a pleasant jaunt so far. Everyone in front of you is kind of like smoothing the trail. You're kind of just zoning out and feeling kind of zen. No real observations.
Okay, I'm feeling zen, guys.
Cool.
Everything's fine.
Guys, I'm filled with the lust of the hunt around here. I can sense some sort of animal sweat and death.
Mhm.
I was getting that.
I stand there with my eyes completely glazed over, not responding at all.
Except for a small knocking that I feel against my spinal column.
Yes. I'm
Cool.
doing imp things.
Awesome. So the next stage of this, so that's about like an hour and a half. The next stage, I'll say, if you guys continue to do what you've been doing, let's do the same checks again. So survival and stealth for Josa, both with advantage. Then Zenarai would just do a perception check for the imp. And those are all the checks that we need at the moment. Okay. Wow. Okay, so firstly, Josa and Dave managed to just as confidently, like, even though this isn't the same forest that you've been in, it feels just like any other. And you managed to find your way into a clearing that starts to open up in front of you.
Dope.
And you feel very stealthy about it. Okay? So you guys should start to see the clearing that I described, or the beginnings of a clearing.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get to what you see in this clearing, the imp sees... Oh, have we got a perception check from the imp? Oh, yeah, 15. Okay, so the imp sees that... Yeah,
By the way, Faz, we're not seeing your rolls. I think you might have it still set to just going to Sam.
Oh yeah, how do I do that?
I don't know, to be honest.
It's just the imp for some reason.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. It's fine.
That's weird. Okay, cool. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. The imp says a little bit belatedly, this is something that Josa observed initially, but the imp is starting to say, yeah, it's a little easier to see, a little clearer. Or let me do an imp voice. Yeah, it's a little clearer.
Oh, no, yoink!
Yeah, you get the sense that the imp is not an expert scout. He can just sort of see from his vantage, and he's saying, yeah, it's a little easier. It's a little bit clearer over there. But obviously being still within the under canopy, there's a lot of shit in the way. And what... Yeah, go on, Zenrai.
So just to clarify something, I think. Yeah, so because of my pact of the Chain Master, the imp actually talks with my voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is like telepathic, right? So even telepathically, it speaks to you in your own voice. I think. Do you mean that if it were to speak aloud, it would have your voice?
Yeah, if it would speak aloud.
Yeah. That, like I think that means if you use it as a puppet for your own voice, a long distance away, it would just come out like you. But when you get its independent observations telepathically, that's the voice you get.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm getting kind of tired. What was that, Ash?
I said that'd be very egotistical otherwise.
Yeah. Well, Zenarai, I think everything's going fine from up here.
Yes, thank you.
Voice, thank you, Zenarai.
Lovely voice you have, Gahak Balaksha.
Cool. So what you see about 90 feet before the rest, Josa and Dave, is within this clearing, there's like a fallen tree, like a rocky outcrop, the denser forest around you, and sort of what seems like a path, but it could just be like incidentally infertile soil leads ahead of you. And there seems to be like webbing in the way starting to be more present in the forest. Like that's what those white boxes are. You start to see like tendrils of cobwebs, except on a larger scale, start to populate the forest. What do you do?
But that was me, right? You were talking to me, or the
Joseph.
So I will. I mean, the guys are following behind, aren't they? They're following my trail. So
They're
I think
about
I will.
yeah, they're 90 feet behind. They're probably about 80 feet behind now.
What about now? No, I'm joking. Okay,
75.
so 76. They got lost a bit, but they're back on the track now.
Yeah.
I will hunker down. Well, I mean, I'll do a little perception check. See what I
Okay.
want.
Make a perception check.
Ew. Oh no, I have advantage. Yeah, wisdom.
I assume
Maybe?
so. I can't remember the actual wording, but it just just for fun.
Your proficiency bonus is doubled for proficient skills when you make an wisdom check to raise it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's just a slightly more complicated way of doing the maths. Like I'm happy to make the call on a more ad hoc basis. But yeah, you can roll perception again.
Okay, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
What are you trying to determine?
I want to see if I can see a door or anything that looks like it could be a path past this or anything like that.
You don't see any doors. You do notice, like I was saying, that there seems to be a lack of dense forest in a circle around you and then sort of ahead of you, but it doesn't feel like a path so much as like a river is just like it just occurs. That's what this area of cleared earth feels like. It feels like some sort of natural occurrence.
So I didn't come from this way. That would be a new path for me to the north.
No. You came from here.
Yeah.
And you see this ahead of you.
Sorry. The character icons are covering that. I didn't see it. My bad. Okay. Yeah. Got it. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll wait. I'll hunker down. Me and Dave will find a little chill spot about here. I'll wait for the others to approach.
Cool. Oh, just before we deal with that, just some administration, Hugo. If you go to settings, like that little cog in the top right-hand corner.
Yep.
There should be something to get rid of those enormous chat boxes.
Avatar size, small. Yeah. Okay.
Does that do it?
It does do it. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Nice one.
So you guys join Joser and Dave in this clearing, and I'll move your little icons for you. I found a little imp icon. I think his size is tiny, so that's what he looks like.
Yay!
I would recommend zooming in to about 60%. Cool. So this is what you see. You see exactly what I described to Joser. Don't make me describe it again.
So as you guys put up, I turn around and say, glad to see you, mate. It's thick around here. I haven't seen any sign of spiders apart from these damn webs, but none of them. Maybe they're watching us, but I haven't heard anything recently. This just looks like a clearing. No door. If we head southeast, that looks like the next route. What do you think?
Sounds good. Let's proceed with caution.
All right.
Cool. So, if you choose to keep going forward, then make another whatever check, survival check, and stealth, same as before. Does Zenerai want to do anything?
I mean, can we sense for danger or for life or?
Well, I mean, you're not a Jedi, so no.
Well, actually, no, that won't be. I've got a spell that lets me primeval awareness as I can find out whether there are spiders within a mile of me.
Based on
will be yes.
Yeah.
What's the wording of it?
It doesn't tell you where they are, so it's completely pointless. This feature doesn't reveal the creature's location or number. It would just tell me whether there are. Oh no, actually, it's not even that. It's aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead within a mile of you.
So I say I feel uneasy by all this. Let's proceed with caution.
All right. Let's do it. If some spooders come, spooders come.
Okay.
So I'll do a.
I've got an idea actually. Hang on. So I'm going to cast minor illusion, which is this one,
Mm-hmm.
and the sound I make is going to be that clicking.
You're going to
Okay.
do it right on top of your face.
I'll say.
But like where? Like on you now?
In the clearing here.
Why?
I think you need to decide like which 5-foot area the sound is emanating from.
Okay. I'm going to do it ahead of us just to see what happens. What's the range on it? 30 feet.
Well, no, that's where spiders are going to come. For the moment, there's spiders. Why would you summon the spiders?
Well, because then we can fight them instead of being scared of them.
Well, I feel like they're going to just jump on our
Okay, so
balls or something.
Yeah, this is ambush territory anyway, isn't it? So we might as well get the jump on things.
Okay, well, has someone got some like big area of effect blast?
I've got fireball, which is massive AoE damage.
All right, let's do that then. Let's summon them.
8d6 AoE stuff. So.
Shall we all try and stealth so we get a jump on them before you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, hide in the bushes and then
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that then.
okay, everybody make a stealth check. Joseph with advantage to try to find hiding spots within this clearing just before Zenurai makes a clacking noise in the middle of the clearing.
I'm actually going to use hidden step to turn invisible until my next attack.
Oh,
Nice.
okay. So that means that you stay invisible for 6 seconds. So it might because when you see a description that says until my next attack, that's like from one combat round to another. So you never know.
Okay.
Those 6 seconds might be exactly what you needed, but it's just not a long-term thing.
Okay, so the exact wording is until the start of your next turn, you attack, deal damage, or force a saving throw. Does that change anything?
No, it just means if you do those things before your next turn, the invisibility ends sooner.
I'll hide properly.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, it might help you. We don't know. Okay, so everybody, normal stealth check except for Josa, and also who rolls with advantage. And I also want Abe to just roll a d20, just as a luck. It's going to be like the Wheels of Fate check.
Okay.
Yeah,
Straight
if
from
you
here,
go
right?
up on here to the dice thing,
Yeah.
you've got them all there, so just do one.
One.
I mean, I could also burn one of my spell slots and make us, I can make 3 of us invisible.
I feel like these are fucking spiders. We're going to deal with some bad shit coming up, so let's just kill
fair
them.
enough. Okay.
Not waste
Okay.
all our spells.
So, Abe, you suddenly like shake out of your reverie of just zen relaxation. Everyone's breaking this path for me. I've never had a more relaxing time. You snap out of that after you hear the sort of hushed, urgent voices of Joser and Zenurai, and probably not Monty. He's probably looking upon everything with a pleasant disposition. But yeah, you suddenly snap out of it and start to focus, Abe, and go, oh, okay, we're hiding now? All right, sweet. Cool.
It was.
Sorry?
I already did the stealth, so
Cool.
that it's not an advantage. Well,
Yeah, only one that has advantage is Josa. So Josa fades into the undergrowth, seemingly invisible with with Dave. Abe does a pretty decent job of hiding his bulk behind a wide tree trunk. Zenurai does a terrible job at hiding behind this like central log, and thinks like I'm probably smaller than this log. So I'm just gonna put you here based on that check, and I'll put Josa like in here with Dave.
Do you want a separate one for the end?
I think so. I'm not sure how the familiar handles it, but he can be invisible whenever he fucking wants, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So I assume he's just invisible.
Yeah. Can I leave him somewhere that's a bit less bait?
Yeah,
We're
go for
still flying in the air, right?
Yeah, true.
it. Monty
Just
hides.
the flying spiders. I think we're okay.
Monty
Cool.
hides behind this tree, like I said, just doing a sort of acceptable job. Sorry, that was what I described Abe doing. Where's Abe's one? Yeah, Abe does a better job, so he's slightly behind Monty. I love that your checks determined where on the map you hid. Like, if everyone yells, like, surprise party, you guys all go, like, one of you chose the couch, one of you chose the kitchen.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
just like freezes in place in the middle of the room.
Yeah. Just like, I think I love the
latch.
idea that Zenarai, just out of profound cockiness, just believing that I know how to stealth, just picks the first object he sees. Sweet. So that means we're going to go to this clacking impersonation that you're going to attempt to do. So this is
Yeah.
going to be, I'm going to need Zenarai to do firstly a nature check. Okay, with an 8, you think, all right, so clacking, probably like 2 bits of wood slapping together somewhere in that region, and then do a performance check. Okay, with a 15, you think to yourself, the best you can approximate is just 2 sticks slapping together, but you perform that stick slapping with great volume and conviction. And where do you want it to emanate from?
Here,
Okay,
by
there.
the webs.
By the way, you're what? Oh, by the webs. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Immediately, you hear the sort of like scuttling of hurried feet, and you see these like blue spiders, huge things, like as big as Monty in height and maybe twice as wide, scuttle out of the undergrowth. And you also see this other creature that looks kind of the same, but just a different color. Looks like just a normal giant spider that isn't blue, scuttles out of the other side, sort of like trying to find the noise and like pounce on it, and they like stab the ground a couple of times. And then this one, hold on. This one sees Zenarai immediately and starts like lunging towards him. So everybody needs to roll initiative.
Awesome.
Fireball now!
Wait. Cool. So to roll initiative, you need to first click your icon on the map just once so that it's got the little like size box around it. And then when you click the initiative button, send to VTT or whatever, it should put you in the order automatically. Nice. Well done, everyone. Well, almost everyone. We're waiting on one more.
Yeah, on me. I always forget.
Perfect. Well done. Okay. So now I've got to do it.
Right.
So for some reason, I can't click my imp, but I rolled a 10.
Okay, cool. I'll do it for you. I think it's because like I dragged the icon in. If you want to like ambush a creature or creatures, you say that you're going to hold an action under the condition that something happens, and then you release that action. So, for example, I think it's pretty safe to assume that Zenarai was holding like his fireball, for example, on the condition that something came out for him to fireball. So in future, I'll let it happen this time. But in future, if you want to like prepare something, if something happens, just say that you hold blah blah action in case blah blah happens.
Got it.
Cool. All right. So before we get into initiative order, you can use your fireball. So how does the spell work?
I will show you.
Okay. Dexterity saving throw. In a 20-foot radius sphere. Goodness gracious. Okay. So that would encompass one.
So I could get the 2 blue ones probably, but
No,
not
you could
all
get
3.
the 2 blue ones and the other one.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I'll do that then.
Yeah. Okay. So the dexterity
Cast
saving
it.
throw. Sorry.
Cast it.
Sweet. Okay. Oh, DC 15. Nice. Dex save. Okay. So that one makes it. So I think he takes half damage. And then the other one needs to roll again. That one saves as well. Now let's do the regular one. These things look incredibly agile, and having 8 legs probably helps them as well. Wow, they all make it. That's super surprising. Okay, so they all take 12 fire damage. As you guys haven't seen probably a spell of this magnitude. Is this the first time you've cast it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys probably haven't seen a spell of this magnitude from Zenurai or basically anyone so far. And it basically looks like he points his finger and then this little tiny, like, pencil drawing of red light kind of wiggles through the sky and quietly lands on a point, and then just 40 feet of fireball erupt in a mushroom cloud around it, and it's quite loud. It makes like a sound. And they look scorched as fook.
Sick.
Just let me check.
I cheer and laugh maniacally.
Okay, 12. Okay, you see like scorch marks immediately appear on their carapaces, probably is what it would be called. And they look, like certainly confused and scared by the occurrence. Next up is Monty.
Okay. I am going to cast Guiding Bolt on the nearest one.
Mm-hmm.
And by that I mean this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's going to miss.
Yeah, with an 8, your guiding bolt basically is hugely strong and powerful, this beam of yellow light, but it basically slices this log in half and nearly gives Zenurai a heart attack. You just see it like slice through the log, and the log goes goo goo goo, and misses. Did you say helping?
Helping.
It's very dramatic. Would you like to move or use a bonus action or interact with an object or talk?
I think I like my little area, so I'm okay not moving. I'm good.
Cool. Next up is these phase spiders. You hear that clacking that you heard, the ones that heard it during your watch last night, is loud with like anger, fear, and ow, my burned carapace is the vibe you get from the clacking. And
I was pretty close with my woodblock sound.
okay, so what is this thing going to do? So many options. 25, 30. Okay, so this thing is going to go and try to take a bite out of Monty because it saw this enormous beam of light. And I'll say that you can add... How much should you add to your AC? Because you're technically behind a tree. So I'll say you can add... That'd be like 5 to your AC. So what's your AC?
Okay, so that 12 plus 5, 17.
Okay, wow. Okay, sweet. So this thing lunges for you with its blue fangs and tries to take a bite out of you. But with a 12, I think that misses you. And it suddenly shimmers this kind of blue-purple color and entirely disappears from view.
Whoa.
And then this creature is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20. And it is going to... Okay, so Zenurai, you see this blue spider sort of scuttle up towards you, and it starts to like climb over the rock that you're hiding behind and looks like it's about to lunge at you, but then it too suddenly disappears.
Ah, shit.
Next up is Abe. What does Abe do?
You get Fox, given that stealth is not an issue anymore, right?
Very wise.
Oh, yes. Did I talk about Fox last time?
Which part?
Okay, cool. I think I said it on the WhatsApp chat, but we haven't played in a while. Basically, I looked into it to make sure I was handling Fox correctly, and it seems like I've been doing it like halfway between 2 mechanics. So the way that creatures like this work when they have their own position in the initiative order and stuff like that is they either like do very neutral things like stand around, or like traditional horses would just like stand around. But I think the way that this spell is worded, it's got more of its own personality. And in those situations, we can handle it kind of how we've been doing it so far, except Fox will sometimes do his own thing entirely and not listen to you. So basically the game balances it by saying, yes, Fox is this ethereal being that has all these powers, and you have some degree of influence over him. But aside from, like, let me ride you over there, he kind of makes up his own mind whether he's going to do, like, charge into battle, for example. So we'll do, like, a little decision roll when that comes up.
Fair.
Cool. You summon this mighty steed out of nowhere.
Yay. Fox is back.
A strong will.
Sounds
Swing in
right.
open space.
Yeah, gonna grab a coffee then and sit back and wait for Fox.
Celestial, can you move it as... Oh, it's at its own place. Okay, so let's roll for him then. What did I call it? Warhorse, that was it. I'll put him on the field. Where do you summon him?
I'm going to summon it right behind Monty.
10 feet above the spider.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
Cool. Sweet, that happens. And then I'm just going to see if I can get his stats again. 10 feet above the spider. Okay, and then I will do an initiative roll for him. Okay, not amazing. So where was I up to? Abe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So you see Fox, like, gloriously toss his mane by way of entrance and stamps the ground in a sort of, like, trophy pose. What happens then?
I'm just going to... No, I'm going to stay where I am. Well, with that. No, actually, I'm the tank, guys. I'm just going to move ahead and see if I can lure that thingy. Like, yeah.
Sorry, could you repeat that? It was kind of breaking up a little bit.
Sorry, I'm just going to move more into the clearing to kind of try and lure that other spider away from Zendaya. How much?
You can move 30 feet, so that's 5-6 squares, I think.
Yeah.
Does Abelarda have any taunt-like abilities?
Do you have any abilities that make things attack you?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
I think so.
More a paladin than a warrior, really.
Getting up in their grill usually makes them attack you, doesn't it? Because otherwise they've got to take an attack opportunity to get out of the range.
Well,
Okay.
I'm trying to get to you, though.
I think you can go further than that.
So it's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
Fair.
Okay, so that's a done then.
Cool. Next up is Joza.
Okay. I'm gonna. So, Joza has become a lot more powerful. I'm going to. Do I want to do this yet? No, I'll do it later. I'm gonna just. I think I've got clear line of sight to this Spooder. No.
Where are you? Yeah, I don't see why not. If the log is kind of on the ground.
Oh yeah, sweet. Okay, in that case, I'm going to drop to a knee, draw an arrow, just a regular arrow, not my magic arrows,
Okay.
and aim for his face.
Sweet. Face arrow, classic arrow.
Yeah.
It's a short bow or a medium. Is it? It's like longbow stats, but we've made it short because he's a short person. Is that the idea?
No, it's a short bow.
Okay, short bow. So show me the stats just so I can check the range. It's probably fine, but it's my job.
Range 80, 320, whatever that means.
Oh yeah, that's tons. Yeah, don't worry about that.
That doesn't say the stats. That's great. Okay.
Nice, good to know.
Yeah.
You've showed us. There we go. Okay, so with a 20, your arrow sails through the air and lands with a convincing thunk between the sort of carapace plates and does an impressive 7 damage as this thing sort of like hisses and screams. Makes that kind of noise.
And then, having zeroed in on his face, Joseph will draw his second arrow as part of his second attack, which he now has as level 5 ranger.
Ooh.
And he will try and place a little pinger right on his noggin.
Blat him.
Oh, not as good.
Okay,
That one.
with a 13, filled with the hubris of recent skill acquisition, this arrow sails into the log that Monty split in half with a beam of radiant energy and just goes clunk into the log.
11 piercing damage, so that log just got fucked up.
Yeah, basically it goes through the log and out the other side.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you get the sense by the sound it makes that it's probably a rotting, wet log.
Joseph just thinks for a second to himself, like, wet.
No.
And then that's
Okay.
it. That's the end of my turn.
Sweet. Next up is the imp's turn. What does the imp do?
The imp is going to, while invisible, just fly back to a bit more of a safe place.
Can you ping it for me and I can move him there? What's his movement, like 30 feet or something? 40?
Flying is 40.
Cool. Yeah, just ping me where he should go.
Right there, maybe?
Like behind Abe diagonally?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. That happens. That's the end of the imp's turn.
Can I, looking through the imp's eyes, can I see the spiders? Are they still invisible?
Looking through the imp's eyes, you see no... I mean, what abilities... Does he have, like, special vision?
I mean, he's got devil's sight. Magical darkness doesn't impede the dark vision. Otherwise, no. Yeah, okay, never mind.
Okay, cool. But he sees the same thing you see.
Okay, yeah.
Next up is the warhorse. What do we want the warhorse to do? Fox, I should say. I think you're on mute.
How far? Sorry, I was trying to find how far he can go.
Oh, I can tell you. He can travel 60 feet.
Why?
Because he's a freaking beast.
Yeah. I think if he's moving diagonally, he can get to that thing, I'd imagine, or most of the way.
Let me see. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Yeah, you could get up in melee range of the spider.
Okay, let's try to get him here then.
Okay. So you're going to tell him to go there and do what?
And try to attack.
Okay, so this is the time where we will do... Give me an animal handling check with advantage. So it's with advantage because, I mean, it's magically bonded to you. But it's animal handling because it still has, like, independent thoughts of its own.
Yep.
Not a strong start with a 7.
Yeah.
13, okay. With a 13, you see Fox sort of, like, move his head up and down and stamp the ground kind of, like, indecisively. And then he suddenly takes off at a gallop to this point and sort of stands there defiantly staring at the giant spider like, I'm not afraid of you, clacky bitch. And he communicates all of this with, like, muscle movements and neighing noises. But then he doesn't attack. He just sort of stands there and goes, this should be enough. You get the sense that he's like, I'm sure the spider will run now.
Excellent.
You've got like the most, like, bravado warhorse from all the Fey realms. Okay, cool. That's the end of the warhorse. Sorry, what?
It's worked out well for him so far.
Yeah. So next up is, I also think doing the warhorse this way is kind of more entertaining. Okay, giant spider's turn. The giant spider is gonna, let's say, I want to see how the giant spider reacts to the warhorse. So that's gonna be a, I'm gonna say wisdom saving throw. Okay, yeah. With a 19, the spider manages to hold its nerve and lunge at the warhorse defiantly to sort of like, they're having like a fight for the dominance of the territory of that 10 meters squared. Sorry, 10 feet squared. So he's going to try... Sorry? What's that?
Oh, just laughing.
Okay, so that's going to be a bite. Okay, but with a 12, I believe Fox's... No, oh no, that does hit, because Fox only has an armor class of 11. Okay, so the target needs to make a DC 11 Constitution saving throw, which it fails. Oh my goodness, taking the poison damage. Okay, so now I need to do poison damage. So giant spider, what is the poison damage? 2d8 poison damage. Okay, so roll 2d8. So that's 10 poison damage, and then the actual damage from the bite is... roll 1d8 plus 3. Okay, so you see this poison sort of like spurt out and around the fangs of the spider, and basically in one bite, Fox just collapses onto the ground and fades into mist.
Oh, God.
Shit.
And you have the sudden realization that you're in a more dangerous part of Draab, this land, than even the orcish caves that you've encountered before, and you get that feeling of, ooh, this is a little scary. And
Yay.
and then the spider is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, as the spider sort of acknowledges the presence of Abe and tries to keep an eye on all the enemy combatants at the same time. Next up is Zenerai.
I'm gonna blast this spider
Which one?
with my new and improved Eldritch Blast, which has 2 beams now.
And twice the fiber.
Mm.
So which one are you attacking? Oh, critical hit! Which one?
Well, I can only see one.
Okay, cool. All right, so describe to me how this spider meets its end.
So I target the point where Jojo's arrow is already sticking out between the plates of the carapace. I blast it with my 2 beams coming from each hand, or 1 beam from each hand, and his head just fucking shoots off and sprays green goo everywhere.
That is exactly what happens. I will say Abe and Joe's need to make dexterity saving throws.
To not get covered in acid neck goo. Saving. Is this poison?
No, it's not poison.
Okay.
Should be factored in.
Okay, so Abe, you get hit in the face with like a quadrant of spider skull, and it just sort of leaves this gooey residue on your face, and it's quite disgusting. Joza, you managed to duck at the last moment, and the sort of shards of carapace strike the tree behind you.
Nice.
Yeah, Joseph's about that, so he has no problem.
Is that the end of Zenerai's turn?
Can I move as well?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I'm a bit worried about this spider just fucking attack of opportunity in me. But,
Yeah, stand next to someone bigger than you.
yeah, I'll try and run over to here.
Okay. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so then you notice that out of nowhere, the giant blue spider just appears beside you. Beside both Abe, Zenerai, and a different one beside Monty.
Where am I going?
And it is surprising, and you may even wet your pants a little bit. So the
IRL.
The spider on the left is going to attack Zenerai, and it is going to be a bite. Does a 22 hit? Yes, it probably does.
Yes.
So make a Constitution saving throw. Okay, so you managed to make the save. How much on a successful? So as the blue fangs bite into you, you take 1d10 plus 2. 10 piercing damage and... whoa. Well, that's not good. And 14 poison damage.
Okay.
So you can probably do that maths for me. And then this blue creature is going to lunge and bite at Monty. As it's now behind you, you don't benefit from the same cover. So this is going to be a 9 to hit Monty. Does that hit? No. So this one basically lunges for you, but the blue fangs manage to embed themselves in the trunk of the tree you're hiding behind as you duck, and you can feel the sort of heat and smell of like prey and predator smell that you smelt before coming off of it in waves of grossness.
Okay.
And that is the end of their turn. That is Monty's turn.
Hmm.
All right.
So they are weakened a bit.
Do you mean damage-wise?
I am going to. How you doing, Zen?
14 health.
Okay, I've got something else that I'm going to try. Okay, I'm going to. I know that's not great, but I am going to cast Bless on Zenurai, Abe, and myself, which means that we can add an extra D4 to saving throws.
I think it's more than just saving throws. If you put the wording of the spell... What?
Rolls, I think it's attack rolls and saving throws.
Attack rolls and saving throws. Okay, sweet.
Just, I'm going to cast it, I should say.
Okay. Attack roll or a saving throw before the spell ends. You can roll an additional d4 and add that to the roll.
Cool. Good
Sweet.
shout.
So who are the three who are blessed?
Zenurai, Abe, and myself.
Okay, cool. Everybody remember that. And in 9 rounds' time, it will no longer be effective. Cool.
Okay.
Is that you see this sort of white glow surround Monty as he sort of reaches out his hands, and that same glow descends upon Abe and Zenurai, and you feel warmed and comforted by it.
And
Like
I
you-
say, "Poison be gone! Try put your fangs in us with this, arachnid bastards."
You hear a clacking only in response. Is that the end of your turn?
I am going to disappear.
Ooh,
Okay.
yes, using your thingamajig.
Yeah, I'm going to use my bonus action to become invisible.
Sweet. I'm going to put a little symbol here that indicates that you're invisible to remind me. Next up is Abe. What would Abe like to do?
I am going to first use one of my bonus actions and use my breath weapon
Oh, nice.
on the arachnid that is attacking Zenurai.
Mm-hmm.
So that one, I don't know how it has an action for the rest. Exhale.
Oh, it needs to make a saving throw, right?
Yeah.
Against what?
Constitution.
And what's your DC, like your spell save DC, which will be either in the spell or in the spell section of your character sheet?
13.
13? Okay, so he's going to make a Constitution saving throw against 13. It rolls a 4, so it fails, which means it takes full damage. So if you just either click the damage and send to VTT, or just roll manually whatever the damage is, then we'll find out what kind of cold damage happens. It is cold damage, right?
2d6.
2d6.
So you have to manually roll 2d6 on here. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, and I think that also means that its movement is reduced by 10 feet for how long?
It doesn't say anything about the
No.
movement, actually.
It says that it's cold damage, but it doesn't say what that does.
Okay, cool. I will just make a judgment later on. I'll say it's until the beginning of your next turn. Cool. So this thing, you basically watch as... Did I do the damage yet?
I don't think so.
I suppose you guys wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Let's say I hadn't.
That's why I'm asking you.
Cool. All right, you see the cold just spew out of Abe's face, and this thing is covered in icicles and shards of crystalline ice. Is there anything else you would like to do with your turn?
Yeah, I'm going to use my great axe and aim it at the blue arachnid.
I don't know if you can. Do you have like a second?
I think it's a bonus action.
Oh, the breath weapon is a bonus action.
Oh no!
Oh, no,
it says
my bad.
as an action once per short rest.
Okay, cool. But you can save your axe for the next time, and
Yeah.
you get the sense that this spider looks much less well off than it did before.
Yay.
Cool. Next.
So use as a bonus ensnare and strike one. Which is, sorry,
I think you have to do that before you attack, though.
That's like when struck with a melee weapon, they'll be restrained, and because
Okay.
you just breathe.
Yeah, ensnaring strike is like a special source that you add on top of hitting with something.
Sorry.
Cool.
Then. One question, Sam. I have a bonus spell that I can use to ward Frass. Can I use that? It is a bonus.
If it's a bonus action, you totally can.
Then let's start.
Nice. So Shield of Faith. Nice. So the target is
Zenariah.
a creature of your choice. Nice. Okay. So that means you just add 2 to your AC, Zenariah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Cool. But you're also concentrating, Abe. So if you get hit with an attack, we need to do a Constitution saving throw to see if you can maintain concentration on the spell.
Okay. Well,
So
I'll
just-
take it.
Just remind me if you get hit by something, and we'll do that check.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Who's next? Joser, I think.
Yep. So first up, I would like to send Dave in
Okay,
to the nearest spider.
cool.
Dave
Dave arrives.
arrives. Oh man, I really hope Dave doesn't die.
The other one is frozen, by the way.
Huh?
The other one is frozen.
And what does that mean in terms of their abilities?
It means
It
that
moves
their
fast and
movement
slow.
is slowed. They can only move like 2/3 as much as they could before.
Okay, well, I'll still go for this way. So I want to send Dave in with pounce attack. So if she moves, within at least 20 feet straight towards a creature and then hits it with a claw attack, it must see blah, blah, blah. So I'll try a claw attack.
Go for it. 17 hits with the claw. Okay, so that is, you see it Dave lunges at this thing, doing a pretty decent job of slashing it up. And then what happens with the pouncing?
It's you must succeed a DC 12 strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
A DC what strength save?
12.
12.
I've only just noticed your T-shirt, Sam. That's,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Choose your weapon, and it's the different dice.
Aww.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
Fucking tight.
I'm a big fan of it.
One thing to observe, by the way, I get I don't know if I can click this in there. My Beastmaster bonus means that the companion gains an additional bonus to attack and damage rolls equal to the ranger's proficiency bonus, which says not included in the attack descriptions below.
Okay.
And I think looking at the slashing damage, it's 1d4 plus 2, which is just the... So it needs to take another 3 damage.
So, sorry, hold on. Is your additional 1d4 plus 3, or is your additional just plus 3?
My proficiency bonus is plus 3.
Okay, so you just add that to the damage, and the description explicitly tells you that it hasn't made that calculation already.
Yep.
Cool.
And if you scroll over the damage, you can see it's just 2, which is what the explanation for the damage is.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So this thing looks kind of a bit bloodied. These weird blue goo seems to be oozing out of it, and that means that
Go on.
it rolled a 15. So I think that resists it, so it doesn't fall prone or something, right?
Yeah, correct. So in that case, Josa seeing this, and he kind of goes like, "God damn it, I have to do it myself." Kind of annoyed at Dave a bit for not getting the prone attack, and so I draw a magic arrow.
Oh, here we go.
And try and shoot that bitch in the face.
Okay, so how does it work when you have a Beastmaster beast and you send it off to like do your bidding? It's like one of your attacks, and because you have 2, this is now like your other one?
Yep.
Nice.
Exactly.
Dope.
Yeah, I think basically I can attack twice, or I can attack once, and Dave can attack once. I don't think Dave can attack twice.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's... and that ability like unlocks more and more as you level up.
Yeah, you get 1 at level 5 and 1 at level 10.
Sweet. So roll it up. This is the magic arrow that can like turn corners, right?
Yeah, and you specified that because I wrote it down that if I hit the target, I can roll another attack to hit the target as well.
Yeah.
So let's try that.
The suspense is building. Okay.
Yeah.
With a 16, which one are you trying to hit?
Same one with Dave.
Cool. All right. I believe with a 16, that hits for 7 piercing damage, and the arrow just like goes all the way through this thing's carapace, and it lets out a mighty clacking scream, and then the arrow, I presume, turns left.
Yep.
Okay, and then you roll the next attack.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh wow! With a 20, it manages to embed itself in this creature as well, and you can describe to me how it meets its end.
Oh yeah. So I kind of, because it's phase. Maybe it's like just starting to begin its like phase shift thing, because it's getting ready to do another pounce attack, and is it kind of just disappearing and starting to shimmer? The arrow just clunks straight through down its throat, and it kind of explodes. And as it explodes, it kind of phases off and spray mists everyone around it.
Exactly. So you get
Yeah.
this mist of like gore and giblets starts to like rain down upon Zenurai and the imp and Abe, but you sort of are halfway between getting sprayed by it, and then it phases out, and then you're dry again, and then it phases back in, and you get wet again. Sweet. Is that the end of your turn?
That is the end of my turn. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. What would the imp like to do?
so I mean, the imp was invisible, but now it's covered in like spider giblets. So is there like this floating outline of spider gore?
Presumably, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, it depends how perceptive
So-
everyone is, whether they would notice that.
So the imp's going to do nothing and just hope that it's all good.
Okay, sweet. Next up is Zenurai.
I'm going to blast this remaining one with this fucker.
Oh, yes, definitely. Describe to me how that dispenses with this creature.
So I'm both far too overexcited. First by the massive fireball at the beginning, then by the fact that we didn't die from this terribly planned ambush, and then by seeing that arrow bend through the air. So I just kind of can't speak, but the spider explodes anyway.
Nice. Okay, it goes everywhere, and just blue goo starts to phase in and out, and we are out of combat. What would you guys like to do now?
I'm going to walk up to Zenurai, touch him gently on and cast Cure Wounds.
Nice.
Nice.
Roll it up.
Cure butt.
Yeah.
So that means you take 11 overall, because
cool.
I think Disciple of Life is like an additional healing benefit.
Yeah, I think that's my school. My school.
Yeah. So you take 11
you.
healing
Cool.
as you feel
Thank you very much.
restorative.
My pockets needed that.
Exactly.
I just do this without saying anything.
How are you doing on health now, Cass?
I'm 25 out of 38.
Okay.
That's plenty.
I can round you up then. I'll put my hands on you on the front instead of on the back.
You're a fun bum.
We're both just standing
I have so many.
like an odd teepee.
Yeah. And I'll do the lay on hands pool. So let's give you 5. Is it what you need to get to full health?
5's plenty. That'll sort me out.
And let's do that. And that's done.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
I jump up and down and say, that was the best planned ambush ever.
Hey, that fireball was pretty fucking sweet, by the way.
Yeah.
It was great.
The spiders got fucked up.
Mm.
Joseph's going to try and scavenge arrows. I think that's the thing I do. It's how I can get half the amount of arrows I fired back after a battle. I just
Sweet.
spend a minute looking around finding them.
Yeah. Does it require you to do anything, or is it just something you automatically do?
Well, I think I just have to say it.
Okay. Yeah. I'll say it's pretty easy to do. So you get back whatever half the amount that you fired. So I think it'd be 1.5 arrows.
Yeah. Cool.
So you retrieve them covered in blue fucking
Phase
gore.
Yeah.
What would you like to do now?
can I instruct my imp to clean the goo off itself? And telepathically, I tell it to fly over to Dave and rub itself on on her fur to get all the goo off.
Okay.
That's probably a really bad idea.
I will say, just for funsies, do I
Dave's
have
gonna
the
eat it.
stats? Do I have the stats for Dave? Oh, I do. Okay. So I'll say Dave's going to make a perception check. And then you can make a stealth check for the imp with advantage because he's invisible. So stealth is based on dexterity. So if you just look at the stats for the imp. Oh, nice. All right. So with a 24, Dave does not notice the invisible imp come up to him and suddenly wipe himself on the back of him, but he quickly turns around and looks around, and the imp presumably flies away.
Yep. And I say with my voice through the imp, who's gooey now, Catman?
You hear Zenarai's voice emanating from thin air.
Dave is just hackles her up, starts growling, not really knowing what's happened. Also, Joseph wonders whether Zenoi thinks that Dave is another humanoid member of the party, like the bear man. He's a very quiet member of the party.
No. So I can't actually distinguish between humanoid and non-humanoid people.
Species.
As you guys presumably continue on your path, led by Joser and the imp and Dave, you basically push past these sticky webs and eventually come to the end of this path of cleared earth. And it becomes a more circular clearing that's sort of like a cul-de-sac clearing. And in the middle of it, on like a little hill, it's much grassier than the previous area, is this doorway. And it seems to be just standing there as though it has a house around it or whatever, but you can't see the house. You can just see the doorway. And carved onto the top half of the doorway is that same symbol of like a rectangle and a quill sort of like poised above it. And that is where we will end the session. Oh, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you have any suggestions or any ideas that we should incorporate, things you want to hear more of, things you would like to hear less of, just let us know at thewronghandspodcast@gmail.com. So THEWRONGHANDSPODCAST@gmail.com. Can't wait to hear from you.